All right, it's New Year's Eve. In a few hours, the entire world, atheists, Protestants, Muslims, Mormons, and people who don't do religion, are all going to agree on one thing. At midnight, it becomes January 1st, 2026. We take the calendar for granted. We treat it like a law of physics. But have you ever stopped to ask why the world uses this specific system? Why do we all agree it's been 2026 years since a specific event? Tonight, I want to talk about why even people who claim the Catholic Church has no authority still set their watches by the Pope. Before the 1580s, the world was using the Julian calendar named after Julius Caesar. It was a good calendar, but it wasn't perfect. It was slightly off, about 11 minutes a year. And by the 16th century, the calendar was 10 days out of sync with the solar year. This was a massive problem for the church because it meant Easter was drifting further and further away from the spring equinox. So, did the invisible church of believers just figure it out individually? No. Did people just wait for a restoration of timekeeping? No. Actually, a visible, centralized authority stepped in. In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII issued a papal bull entitled Inter Gravimas. He didn't just suggest a new calendar, he mandated it. He literally deleted 10 days from history. People went to bed on October 4th and woke up on October 15th. Now, here's the kicker for my Protestant and LDS friends. At the time, the Protestant Reformation was in full swing. They hated the papacy. They called the Pope the Antichrist, and for a long time, Protestant countries like England refused to adopt the Popish calendar. They stayed 10 days out of sync just to prove they didn't have to submit to Rome. But eventually, they had to give in. Why? Because the Pope was right, the science was right, and the authority was organized. And you can't run a global civilization on private interpretation of what day it is. Authority isn't just a theological extra, it's a functional necessity. The very way that you track your life, your birthdays, your tax deadlines, your New Year's resolutions, is a Catholic invention. You are living in a temporal world built by the Vatican. To my Protestant brothers, you might claim sola scriptura, but you use a Catholic calendar to schedule your scripture alone conferences. To my LDS friends, you claim the authority was lost for 1800 years, yet you use the dating system established by the very apostate church you claim had no authority. If the church was dead, why is the whole world still following its heartbeat? So, as we head into 2026, don't just resolve to lose weight or read more. Resolve to be logically consistent. If you can't trust the Catholic Church to tell you what day it is, maybe it's time to start listening to what she says about the Lord of those days. Jesus is the Alpha and the Omega. He is the beginning and the end. He established a church to be visible light to the nations, not just a spiritual idea, but a concrete reality that even secular history cannot ignore. So tonight, enjoy the fireworks, stay safe, and remember, every time you write 2026 on a check or a calendar, you're making a tiny act of recognition that the church that Christ founded, the Catholic Church, never went away. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Solemnity of Mary, and Friday we're going to do a deep dive into the Islamic dilemma and why the LDS claim of the restoration actually undermines the power of the gospel, all in one video. You won't want to miss that one. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year, and God bless.